Hey everyone, Budget Collecting, and tonight we are starting our first episode of our D&D campaign. You have not been watching or knowing that we've been doing this. We've been playing, this group for the most part has been playing D&D for a couple years now on YouTube. We started out on this guy's channel below me, Whitewell Comics. He was our DM. So we played for a little over a year on your channel, I think. Then we went over to
felt like a long time.
Far side over there, Big Wells. I'm pointing the wrong direction. I can't make it work. There it is. That guy. We played over there for about a year. So we were getting ready to start another campaign, and I foolishly volunteered to be the dungeon master. So yeah, so we're going to be playing Ghosts of the Saltmarsh. Tonight is our session 0. We're going to be introducing our characters, working on our backstories a little bit. I'm going to be introducing what they need to know about Saltmarsh to start the campaign, and then we may do our little story hook to start the campaign right at the end. We'll see how far we get. And then we hopefully the next time we do this, which won't be for a couple of weeks, we'll get started. So let's introduce this crew. We got John from John's Comics with Kids. What's going on, John?
And hey, man, just excited to get into this again.
Yeah, this is looking forward to it. We got Big Will over there in the corner. What's going on?
I got a nutty buddy.
Nice, very nice.
I think you got 5 of them right here.
We got
Everything's right with the world.
Whitewell Comics. What's going on, Alec?
How's it going?
Mr. Daymares. What's going on? And then Tony, little golden snow in the corner. We'll find out what that's all about here in just a second. So, let's just get started by having you guys introduce your characters and do a little backstory. Let's start with what?
If some of us know each other ahead of time, why don't you move us around so they can introduce together?
Ooh.
All right, you can do it that way.
He's just eating the nutty buddy like, yeah.
All right, well, we will start with Miss Felicia. We won't say bye, Felicia. We'll say hi, Felicia. What's going on?
Exactly. Yeah. Don't say bye to her. Yeah. So I'm a half elf sorceress. I am tall, slender, wearing some simple robes, and no hair, shaved head, bald, some scars on head and back, and some tattoos as well. Generally, pretty serious, pretty doesn't mess about, doesn't show a ton of emotion. Yeah.
Okay. Do you want to? Well, I'll let Tony introduce his character, and then we will talk about a little bit about how you guys know each other. So, Mr. Golden Snow over in the corner. What?
Hi everybody. I'm a Tabaxi rogue. I'm a cat person. I'm black with golden eyes. I don't know my clan I came from or my given name, but because of my golden eyes, they call me Golden Snow. So I was kidnapped as a cub. I was given as a pet, and I escaped from there. I lived on the streets since I was 9. I was taken in by a master thief, and he taught me the trade.
Okay.
Are we sharing alignments?
You can if you want, I guess. I didn't necessarily know if you need. I don't remember if we did that before or not. Now that you say that, so I mean, I guess if they want to keep it a secret, they can, and otherwise they can share alignments.
I was thinking, I was going back and forth with this, but I decided to actually go for neutral good.
Okay.
Hey, there's another cub.
Oh, speaking of cubs, John, do you want to share your alignment, or you just want to skip that for now?
I mean, I don't know that it matters too much,
Okay.
but yeah, I mean, my backstory, I don't know if that. I mean, I've been traveling with this knucklehead for a good while now. We've been part of different sort of thief guilds and pirate crews on different ships. and now we're looking for work. We're walking the streets of Saltmarsh looking for work.
Okay. Tycon down there in the corner. What about you?
Well, I am a Triton Ranger, and Tritons live under the sea. And I was born into a well-off family. We weren't royal or anything, and I didn't have a care in the world. So much so that that non-care made me grab the attention of some slavers, and I led them straight to my home, where my family was taken or killed, and I was left with nothing, absolutely nothing. And I swore that would never happen again. So I needed to study, so I became an acolyte of Procon or Procan, the god of the sea. And I started to hone my skills and learn different things at the school there under the sea. And that's how I became a ranger. And I am a neutral, lawful neutral. I protect life no matter the cost.
Okay. Well, we are going to skip the maybe not. Maybe the cub is ready for bed. We'll see. What do you need a minute?
I think I'm good.
Okay.
All righty. I am Arvel Barrelson is my actual name. People call me Woody Barrelson. I'm a wood elf. That's why people call me Woody. Let me find my sheet that's got copperish skin, light brown eyes, brown hair, 5'10", 140, kind of youngish for a elf, but not too horribly young. Left home at about 100. Fell into somewhat of a bad crowd. Earned money by fighting in the fight pits. And then sort of decided that wasn't a good thing to do, and left.
Okay. And then last but not least, and we will get in more information on all of you here as we go forward, but last but not least, for our introductions, we got a question mark down here below me. Who we got, Alec?
Yeah, hi. So I am also a Triton. I'm a Triton fighter. I have kind of like silvery blue skin and green hair. Yep, it's like that guy right there. Tritons are short, or shorter than humans at least, so I'm about 5 foot tall. And young. I'm just like, around 18, 20 years old. So I am very green to the world. And my name
Okay. I'm surprised John kept his food down, I'll be honest.
As for my backstory, I grew up on helping my father on his fishing boat, which he started. He kind of retired from the military after he was a really great war hero, and a lot of people probably have heard of him. His name's Im, but probably better known by his nickname, which is Dragon.
Well played, sir. Well played.
But oftentimes when we would be out to sea together, he would tell me stories of his illustrious war record. He was a great hero, but he hated killing, so he chose to retire and become a fisherman. He told me these stories as cautionary tales, or so he thought, instead They had the opposite effect on me. I became enamored with his bravery and glory and wanted nothing but to follow in his footsteps. So against his wishes, I've left home in order to become a great fighter like he was. And I am lawful good.
Lawful good. All right.
I'm still working on my character's voice.
That's okay. We got a couple weeks yet, so before you have to fully unveil Gargle.
Gargle these nuts' voice.
Felicia, you have anything to say to Gargle?
I think that's going to be entertaining. I think I'm the tallest one in the group.
Probably.
How tall are you?
6 foot.
I'm
Oh, yeah.
6'4".
Oh, wow. Hey, there you go.
Oh.
My pussy's bigger than all of you.
You got a big pussy.
I'm 5'2".
All right, we're off to a wonderful
11 minutes. It took 11 minutes. Sorry.
No,
my fault.
good.
Look what I'm working with here. I'm just saying.
I know.
I don't see anything wrong with my name.
Right next to the Woody.
Yeah, we got Golden Snow.
Would you be like slightly below me?
What?
Wait, do we need to be like?
There it is. There it is.
Is that the appropriate location for everybody?
Yep. I think it works.
And then Golden Snow's down there on the ground. Yeah, that's
Anatomically correct. Where we're supposed to be here.
Yeah. Oh, good grief. I will go on and shout out the chat. We had GTT hanging out with us. We got Big O hanging out with us. I apologize.
Not anymore. We don't.
Not anymore.
Yeah, is that my cousin?
Yep.
All right. So one of the things before we get into this, so I gave you guys the little player's guide to Saltmarsh, which is basically kind of a certain thing. And I do want to get into a minute, like how long you guys have been in Saltmarsh and that kind of stuff before we dig too much deeper. But before we go into any of that, Tycon and Gargle, you guys wanted to talk about like potentially having a little bit of history or what kind of finalizing that. Where are you guys at on that? So
Yeah, I mean, because we're the same race, we figured we're probably from the same general area, but we didn't really like come up with a history. And
we're not related. We're not like best of friends or anything. We just know of each other. Like I assume he would know that I used to be an acolyte at the school, and I've probably heard stories of his dad and know of him through that.
Right. And like I probably know that what happened to your family generally. I assume that's kind of common knowledge that your family was attacked.
I would assume that you probably saw me leave for Saltmarsh, because that's the direction I know that my family was probably taken, but that's about it. And I've been in Saltmarsh, I would say, for probably about a month, if that's okay, JP.
okay.
And I'm going to need some help. I can't do it alone. So I'm still in there trying to figure out what's going on, what's happened, because it's been years. So the trail is cold.
All right. Well, let's just go with you, Alec. How long you said your character has kind of recently left home? He's very green.
Yeah, like I just arrived in Saltmarsh. Like
Okay.
Either the day we're starting, or maybe I got there the day before and spent the night. But like I know nothing.
Okay.
Golden Snow.
And I would imagine we would probably find each other pretty quick, considering Saltmarsh is mainly human and we're two fish dudes with green skin.
Yeah, so that is something I'll talk about like once we get into the Saltmarsh thing here in just a second. But Woody, where have you been and how have you gotten to Saltmarsh?
okay. So I just sort of left mine open to sort of fit in. However, I can work mine into just about anybody else's story.
Okay.
Or I can just come up with something right now. That I've been here for a few months trying to earn an honest dollar.
Okay. You know All right, Woody's been in town for a little while. Okay.
So I would assume you would have noticed me being walking around at least because I'm very different.
Well, I mean, how depends on how big Saltmarsh is.
Well,
Yeah.
we're going to talk about that here in just a second. So,
Okay.
Felicia and Golden Snow, how long have you guys? What is your history with Saltmarsh? At this
So
point?
we have been in and around working with different smuggler crews. There's a smuggler category in your player's guide
Yes.
as far as bringing in elvish wine and all these kinds of things. We just had a falling out with our crew, but so we're looking for a new crew to join up with. But yeah, we've been in and around this area for a while.
Okay, so you've been. We talking 6 months, a year? What are you thinking?
I'd say at least a year, probably.
Yeah, sounds good.
Okay.
If that works. I don't want to step on your toes or anything.
No. Okay. So I gave you guys the little player's guide, and basically it kind of gives you a little bit of background. Saltmarsh being kind of historically a nondescript fishing village, it's been very successful. They tend to do really well in their fishing. They've kind of been forgotten by the kingdom. As a result, sea princes, which are kind of a coalition of pirates, had raided the area. They take slaves. They raided villages. Saltmarsh had survived these raids without much help from the kingdom. But recently, the king has decided to turn his focus to the south that he's ignored for a long time. And there's a bunch of new people in town. And so it's a very kind of divided town at the moment, between these traditionalists who, we've survived on our own. We don't really want you, all these new people here, and they're trying to take over, and we want to just be left alone. We don't like the sea princes, but we don't really like you either. There's a lot of and that's mostly like your fishermen and your fishing families and some of the main merchants in town and that kind of stuff. People that have been there a long time. The loyalists are the new people in town. They're loyal to the king. They're coming down here to try to increase trade and build the kingdom because he suffered some defeats in his wars to the north. So they're trying to increase funds and make money for the kingdom. So that's really what's going on there. And they see most of the people that have been living in Saltmarsh as kind of hicks and backwards and that kind of thing. So there's very much a division in town that's kind of been going on. Obviously, the sea princes are this threat that's kind of in the area. They're not as active as they have been or not openly as active as they have been because the king has built, the Navy is more around more. There's been some conflict, but not open war between him and the kingdom and the pirates. But so the pirates have had to be a little bit more, off the radar, but that doesn't mean they're not still doing their thing. So, lots of the other traditional thing other than fishing has been smuggling in this town. It's been a big deal. The people that have been there don't see it as any big deal. It's just basically a way to make some money without having to pay taxes to a king that never paid attention to them. And they don't see, but the loyalists are very much wanting to crack down on the smugglers and the smuggling because, they see it as, a way to help grow the town if everything's going through the merchants who are making money. We had TJ trying to always offering you advice, John. Simon R, what's up? This will be the only time that I really acknowledge the chat much during one of these because when we're playing, we will not do that. But I appreciate anybody who stops by. So we're going to block that user that I just noticed. So, and it wouldn't let me block the user, which is really weird. Oh, there we go.
I actually did it earlier, so
okay.
When I saw it, I jumped in your chat.
It didn't show up on my thing. Okay,
I already did it. So
gotcha. Thank you for doing that, John. All right. So let me pull up. So that was kind of the overview. Alec asked, "Whoop, I minimized that. I wanted to just close that. Go to the other tab." All right. Alec asked, "How many people?" Let's see. It's right. about. Oh, get back to the top. On here. Actually, it might have been on here. Was it on here? No, I can't. Of course, I can't find it, and I don't have it memorized on the top of my brain.
Jackson Roy Kirk, to answer your question, we actually banished Comic Man Andy, so he is not part of this crew anymore.
yeah, he is not part of this. Where does it? I know it says it here somewhere. I wanted to say it was like around 5,000, but now I'm not finding it. That's the number I remember, but I'm not actually finding the exact number. So maybe I'll find it during the course of this. So as I go through this, where it's written, it is written somewhere. So seems like all but Gargle have a good definition of what Saltmarsh is. So let's. I'm going to share with you guys a map.
Following the establishment of King Scotty's renovation plans for the town, the population is 5,000.
Okay, it was 5,000. That was the number I remembered, but I not finding it, I was a little confused. I wasn't 100% certain. So the first thing you're going to notice is this map is sideways.
So north is that way?
North is up.
Oh,
so they publish. There's two like regional maps in this book that they published and gave to me. And let me zoom in here a little bit. Let's zoom in a little more. And
you can't rotate that?
So I rotated it so that north was up because like I realized the writing is not that important anyway. I can like point this out, but it annoyed the crap out of me because they gave me two regional maps. One of them north pointed this way and the other one north pointed that way. And they were both oriented this way. So for sharing with you guys, I have turned the map turned both of those maps where north is just up. Plus, it allows me to show them a little bigger on the little. So I'm trying this in PowerPoint.
I like that. I like that you did that.
To share with you guys the maps and stuff because I have all the maps in high quality through D&D Beyond. So I'm going to try this in PowerPoint. We'll see how it goes. I tried it in just sharing the slides through StreamYard, like the new slide thing. The problem with that is I can't, like, when we get to maps that I need to, like, reveal rooms and stuff on, I can't edit in StreamYard, the slides. It just shows them. So
that makes sense. This works.
So this is how I'm going to try it. We'll see how this works. Let me zoom out just a touch so you guys can actually get the whole town. But here is the village of Saltmarsh. So since you guys have been in the area a little bit, let me open this so I can kind of go through some of the highlights around town. Actually, before we do that, I'm going to talk a little more about the faction. Sorry. So those of you that have been in town for a little while, obviously you've noticed the kind of the two factions in town, and that you will have being. What's your guys' passive perception, John? What's Felicia's?
Sorry. 11. Am I muted? Sorry, 11.
Okay. What about you, Golden Snow?
-1, right? So I have a 14.
14 on passive perception. Okay. Tycon.
Come back to me.
Okay. Woody.
15.
15. Okay. So you and Golden Snow are pretty perceptive about what's going on. Did you find it yet?
14.
14. Okay.
Oh, wait,
so
no,
everybody
12.
with Felicia
Sorry,
is
12.
pretty perceptive about what's going on in town around them. But so basically, you've been around long enough to know that all of you, I think, have been in town long enough to know that the town is run by a council. There is this town council that is kind of divided currently between traditionalists and the loyalists. The kind of main leader of the council is a woman named. Get back to this. Oop, get right to the right page. So I'm going off the right thing. Etta Owland. So her name is Etta Owland. She's actually been on the council like for quite a long time. She's kind of the unofficial leader of the council, even though they're technically equal seats. And she's definitely kind of one of the major owns several fishing boats and one of the major families of the fishing people in this town. You also know that there's a particularly Felicia and Golden Snow would be aware of that there's a Gillen Primewater who seems to be kind of the richest guy in town and seems to have his fingers in almost everything. He's also on the council. And also a traditionalist who would just soon all the loyalists go home. You're also aware of a Lander Fireborn, and I can give you guys these names later if you need them. But now everyone would be aware of him. He is the captain of the city guard. He is an older gentleman, but still quite formidable. He walks around town with he's got a peg leg that he lost in the wars to the north. But he's still not somebody you would want to mess with. And he has a seat on the council as a member as the captain of the guard. He was appointed that by the king. So not necessarily super popular amongst one faction, but definitely a prominent figure. The other person you would be aware of on the council is Magistrad Copperlocks. She is the dwarven leader of the mining colony that's new in town. So I didn't talk about that. That was on your sheet a little bit. I didn't mention that. So one of the things that had happened when the crown took interest in the South and Saltmarsh is there were a little bit of known silver deposits in the area. The king basically gave the dwarves rights to go lay claim to whatever they could find for the kingdom, to start digging and mining in the area, to take advantage of that silver and hopefully find more valuable things in the area. So she basically was appointed to the council by the king. He basically created a seat for her that was not previously there. So that he thought that the miners needed representation. Needless to say, that has not went over well. But she is a very prominent figure in town that new in town that people are very much aware of, and leader of the dwarves. And then the last member of the council is a Anders Solomore. And he basically recently took over the seat of his mother on the council, who passed away. He is by far the youngest member to ever be on the council. And he's very prominent in town. The people really love him because he seems to manage to always get the best deals. And he pays his people well. He's making a lot of money. You can sell to him and seem to do better than you can in most places. And he seems to be very generous and helpful for the town. So that is the town council that you guys would definitely have been aware of. You guys got any questions about any of that before we go any further?
I just want to confirm something, because I realize I made this decision of my backstory based on something that I kind of assumed or wasn't totally clear on. The loyalists are loyal to the king, correct?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. The reason I say that is because as a lawful good fighter who wants to be a war hero, I assume that I am going to the town on behalf of the king, or that's my intention. But I also come from a fishing family, and so I feel like there's going to be some kind of internal conflict with my character based on those two sides and trying to figure out what the right thing is.
So, okay. So question that why we're talking about this. So your father was a war hero, and you're going to say that it was fighting with this kingdom. Is that where you're going with this potentially?
I assume I assume this kingdom is not like new, right? They've been around for a
No,
while.
they've been around for a while.
Yes.
So and Saltmarsh has been here for well over 100 years. So, so I would say there's potential if your father was that well known a hero that this Elander person would either know of or know him. So that may be something we can finalize between now and the first session. But
why would a Triton go with a land king?
that's a good question.
I mean, Tritons are amphibious, so
Yeah. And I mean, the kingdom obviously has a lot of coast, although most of the wars were fought to the north, the east, and the west, like moving north across the land, not across the sea.
As long as it's coastal, that should work, right?
Yeah. So, I mean, obviously,
I don't
moving into the continent to try to expand the kingdom, but
I don't picture us as being like Aquaman. Like, I don't think we have an underwater kingdom, right? We are still. I assume that we were coastal. Maybe I didn't read up on them enough, but
well, we live underwater, but we can go out of the water and experience things and come back, vice versa. You know.
How long can you be out of water?
we can breathe air.
Yeah, we can. We're fine. So I would figure my character has been to the surface or been on land a few different times, but my character has lived mostly under the water, but has been to the surface. And I've been on the surface for about a month now. So it makes sense that if his dad was in a coastal kingdom and he saw that it was good for like the fish in the sea and all, then yeah, that makes total sense to me.
okay. So that's up to you, Alec, if you want to say. I mean, I feel like the Lander is a prominent enough figure that he would at least know of your dad if your dad was a war hero. Do you want to play it that way?
Yeah, if you're all right with that, I'm fine with that.
Okay. Let me add that to your. Sorry. I got some notes on all of you guys so that I can remember some of this. I would assume, though, based on your background, you would not know him personally because
right, yeah,
because your dad wouldn't necessarily want anything, but maybe like you. I guess through his stories, maybe you've heard of him as what this person as well. So, knows of your dad. Okay. All right. Anything else before we like dig into like some places here around town? Actually, we'll do the bigger map first, I think. But
I have. Could I not like Gargle since his dad fought for a land king? I think that'd be kind of cool. We could butt heads.
I mean, you can definitely not like him. That's for sure.
and that's your character decision for sure.
Yeah, that's a character decision for sure. Now, at some point, you're going to have to team up. So, would it be that you dislike him enough to not want to team up? That's a question.
Well, I mean, you can not like someone but realize they're beneficial to you.
Okay. So yeah, that's a total character decision if you guys want to play it that way. So, or if you want to play it that way, I should say.
Yeah, and obviously, I think perhaps we can uncover the reason why my father fought on behalf of this king at some point. But
so, okay. Anything else? All right, so I'm gonna pull up the regional map here. I think.
Oh, you wanted the original question before we brought up the map was if Tycon and Woody had, or somebody had run into each other.
We were trying to figure out how much Woody wasn't sure how long he'd been there. So
Felicia and them have been there like a year. So would they know Woody and would they know me? And Woody's been there a few months. Would he know me? or have seen me. I mean, we're not friends or anything yet.
Well, we can play it however you guys want to play it.
Well, I would
I
figure
feel like,
Golden Snow and
I'm
me
gonna
probably
ask,
stick out.
yeah. Well, just because you stick out doesn't mean that yeah. So would maybe notice you, but that doesn't. He may or may not have. You guys may or may not have ever interacted. So,
Yeah, that's what I'm asking. Have they noticed me, or is the town 5,000 people? Would they not have?
I think there's a fair chance they wouldn't have, but there's really, and we'll get into it. There's really only 3 places that you could potentially have been staying.
Okay.
Like if you're like that, at least are listed that I'm like gonna run with. So there's a good chance if you're traveling through or just staying using an inn or that kind of thing, then that you would have
Okay.
probably
I
ran
won't
into
worry
each
about
other.
it.
So but we'll get into that in a second. Woody, I guess, Adam, do you have any more of a feel for how long you want to say you've been there and who you may have interacted with?
I mean, I've been there a little while. I probably might have saw them, but I doubt I've, in a town of 5,000, I don't think I would, be buddy with them,
Okay. So what do you like? What do you think your character's been doing while he's been in town?
Probably just like odd jobs and
Okay.
that type of stuff. I don't think
Okay.
he would have, had a grand mission right now. He's sort of trying to find a grand mission
Gotcha.
in life.
Okay. Anything else?
No.
All right. Let me pull up. I'm going to pull up the regional map, although it does not have like the whole kingdom. Partially because, like as you guys know, this is taken from. This is not necessarily a singular adventure. This is multiple adventures that were taken and kind of mushed together for this book. So you don't even see the whole kingdom of Noland here. This is just kind of like the part of the coastal region. Saltmarsh is. Can you see my mouse? Yeah, Saltmarsh is here in the center. Again, another map that was turned oddly, but now north is up. The dwarven mines are off to the east. You got some. There's a few things that you guys can't know the names of yet, but that's the nearest town into the interior is Burl, which is kind of on your way. If you follow this road and kept going, you'd go to the capital of Nolan, which I forget the name of now. And I don't know that it'll ever come up in the story, depending on how you guys play it. And then the nearest, like the state capital or regional area is the Seton. That's kind of is where most of the military activity that's moved in. The Navy force, for the most part, is based out of Seton. That the kingdom is sent down there for patrolling for the pirates and that kind of stuff. So that's kind of your regional thing. Obviously, if you do some land stuff expanded, there's the marshes, the dwarven forest, and the deep woods. There's some areas that potentially we could go explore. And then obviously the Azure Sea is where some of this is going to take place. Obviously, there's potentially more islands and stuff that just aren't shown here on this particular map. So.
Wait a minute. So the white is land, the dark is sea.
Yes, this is your coast right here. Coastline.
Okay. I had it backwards. Okay.
And then this is the land. This is forest. This over here with is a swamp, or marshes, I should say. Sorry, I should have explained that a little better. Obviously, these are contours, so this is kind of a peak around, not a high peak, but a higher hill, I guess, is more of a way to put that. So, and then what do we got here? I forget, like 1 hex is 10 leagues. So 1 sub hex is 7,500 yards. So like one of the little smaller ones is to give you an idea of some distances here on this map.
Okay.
So, all right. So, city of Saltmarsh. Whoa, where's my? Do I have two images? Why is there two images? You guys, I don't know. I didn't know there was two images on here. That's weird. Well, let's delete that one. Okay, one. I don't know how I got doubled up. Okay, so you guys kind of got the regional idea. Here is the road coming into town. This is the main gate to the city of Saltmarsh that comes into town. I'm like open my just so I can remember what I need to tell you about all these little places. Get to the right page. So if you're going to land, for the most part, on the road, you're going to go through the gate. And there is a garrison at the gate of the city guard. So then if you come down here, this is kind of the barracks and the main barracks for the guard and the jail. This is number 3 over here. And let me zoom in just a little more. You guys can actually kind of. Can you guys see that okay?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, number 3 over here is one of the places you could be staying. This is the Wicker Goat. It's the dubious honor of being the oldest tavern in town, but it recently did change hands. And it's now kind of caters mostly to the miners and the town guard. It does have sleeping quarters and that kind of stuff upstairs. So that is one of the places that you guys could be. Some of you could be staying if you.
Sounds like a loyalist kind of place that probably
very much a loyalist kind of place.
Yeah, Golden Snow and I probably wouldn't be caught that.
We'll get to where you guys are at. There's an obvious choice for where the two of you are at.
I figured,
for the record. So I'm not gonna. You guys wouldn't necessarily know that. Well, maybe.
Okay.
I guess it depends on how nosy you've been.
It may be a lowest place, but it might be a place to get information.
This is true. At the Wicker Goat, yes. Those of you that have been in town, I want to go with roll. Would it be perception?
History?
Maybe history, yeah. Maybe a history check.
Ugh.
I don't know. I'm just making a suggestion out to.
Well, it would basically be about how, in order to know what this building is, it would be how much you've snooped into the town, how much you've been paying attention and trying to find out everything you can about certain aspects of the town. So yeah, we'll go with history.
I rolled a 2.
You rolled a 2, okay. You don't know what.
Off to a good start.
7.
What'd you roll, Tycon?
7.
Okay, you don't know what the place is.
am I supposed to be rolling something? Sorry.
Yes, Felicia. Roll a history check.
History check. Here we go.
12.
16.
All right. Well, Felicia is the only one of you that's noticed that.
More like hi, Felicia.
Hi, Felicia has noticed that this is actually the home of the captain of the town guard. This is where Eleander's.
Oh, okay.
Where's your
So-
cursor? I can't see your cursor. I'm sorry.
Number
Ah, there you
4.
go. Number 4.
Number
Gotcha.
4. So Felicia
And
has noticed that.
I assume if Felicia knows, Snow knows.
Yes. So Felicia and Snow know that that's where the captain of the guard lives. So, everybody went on number 5. This is the headquarters of the mining company.
Okay.
This, for those of you, I'm just going to say you guys would notice this. This is Keladek Tower, number 6. And the quote-unquote resident wizard and sage of the town, Keladek the Unspoken, lives here. And he's kind of when he does come out and about, he's a fairly noticeable character with nearly 7 feet tall, always wearing wears a red silk turban. He's kind of an unmistakable figure around town when he wanders around. So let's see. 7, you guys would also know or be aware of. This is the faithful quartermasters of Izu's place. Izu. I-U-Z. I don't know how you pronounce that. And this is basically where a trade delegation from the Kingdom of Izu has basically taken up residence. They do a ton of trade with Saltmarsh and have for a long time. Their kingdom is always somewhat short on food, and they trade for Saltmarsh's fishing goods, like for fish to send home to their kingdom quite regularly. So they basically have established their own place. This is a common trading area. All of you roll. I'll give this to you. And they're led by a Captain Zendros, who is a female tiefling and a priest. So she's also a fairly prominent figure when she moves about town. So number 8. This is probably where Felicia and Golden Snow have been hanging out. This is the Empty Net. It's basically a rickety tavern that kind of is supported by stilts out into the harbor, and is purportedly a haven for smugglers, mercenaries, assassins, and even pirates.
So can I suggest
Sure.
something? Since my character is just getting to the town basically and doesn't know any of this,
Okay.
I would think I would pick a tavern close to the water.
Well,
Is this the
that's
only?
exactly what I was about to suggest. Is there another one right on the water? Because if not, that's probably where I would wind up. Probably where I came into
There
town.
is one more, and it's right on the water, but it is. Well, we can just skip to it. The other option. So basically, this one is ran by a Kreb Shinker, and he doesn't ask any questions as long as you got coin. So,
what is that race? I don't even know that race.
No, Shinker is his name. Shenker. He's a human. So, and then the other option is number 13 over here, the Snapping Line, and it is a popular inn and tavern for, and obviously the biggest place to potentially stay in terms of sleeping quarters. It's actually made out of old ship's cabins. And it's known to, well, it smells like fish, so you're gonna smell like fish if you stay there. But it
Did
is
you
a
say
Well,
13?
I love the place.
Joke's on you. I already smell like fish. 'Cause I'm
so this one.
Oh.
So this is the other. These are the two. Your other two real options for staying if you're not going with.
I would definitely say 8. It's the first one you go on the water, and
Well,
it's
is that
right on the water.
Is that the Empty Net?
Yep. Number
the
8.
Empty Net. Okay.
So 8 is the Empty Net.
Yep.
Mhm.
Okay, so that's where I'm gonna say I've been then.
Okay, so, and I would assume Golden Snow and Felicia have been at the Empty Net. What about Woody?
We can put me there too, and then say I knew him a little bit. Met him
Okay.
there
Right,
some,
Empty
but
I would have kept to myself and just
well,
paid
my
my gold.
charisma is so low. I would have,
Spilled your entire life story to anybody who came by.
no,
No.
quite the opposite.
Okay.
I'm thinking he's kind of a recluse.
So I will. You guys will be at. Sounds like most everybody's going to be at the Empty Net, so that gives us an easy place for you guys to at least initially meet as we go into session 1. Okay. I will say, it's known for troublemakers. So if you guys have been staying there, I'll give you a little more information on it. Basically, Kreb doesn't ask any questions as long as you got coin. Troublemakers are thrown out the door, over the railing, and into the harbor. So it's like, if you raise trouble in that bar, that's usually what happens to you. Characters looking to carouse find this a place for a rowdy night of drinking and brawling. So the town guard rarely comes here. So that is, yeah, it's quite the fine establishment that you guys have chosen. So okay.
Now,
Next.
does this,
Go ahead.
sorry. I was asking. So this is like a tavern and an inn put together thing. You can get a drink there and sleep there.
Yes.
Okay.
It's small. It's the smallest one that does have a few rooms. But so if you guys have been staying there, there's probably not maybe one or two other rooms left in the place. So because it's mostly just a tavern. But yeah, the biggest inn and place to stay is 13.
Well, I would say that I pay for a room there, but I don't sleep in the room. I sleep past over the railing into the harbor in the water.
Okay. So, well, yeah, well, you wouldn't have to pay for a room there if you were going to do that.
I do though, just in case.
Okay. So
I'm trying to find some bad dudes. Remember,
this is true. All right. Let's see. How often does this happen? So this is kind of like a little. This is called the green market. It's basically like a little farmer's market. It's not really, fish aren't really for sale there, but like other like local farmers and stuff sell stuff there. You guys would have walked past that. This is Shark Fin Bridge. It's the only bridge kind of across the river here. You guys have been in town long enough. You've probably found Custer's Leather Goods, which is up here at 11.
how deep is the water in the river there? Like if you took that bridge out.
I will have to look and see. I don't think it actually tells me anywhere on that. I'm going to say you're at the mouth of the river. You're probably like going across there between 20 and 30 feet, probably.
Nice. Good to know. Okay.
So, yeah, because you're basically in the harbor and you're looking at how close the docks come up here that ships are using. I'm going to say, yeah, you're looking at least that deep, probably. So, let's see. This is where is this? 12 is Hulwat Tower. It's basically a defensive building for Saltmarsh for like raiders and stuff coming from the north, coming from the land side, basically. It's still kind of used as a armory for the town guard. Already gave you the snapping line, sort of. It's the popular inn and tavern amongst traditionalists in town, the fishing folks. Plus, it's also kind of the biggest town, kind of the biggest place in town to come and stay. The 14 is the city council hall. 15 is the weekly market where the fishermen sell their goods. So that's where the fish market, as opposed to like the farmers market. So across the river there. This is 16 is, I talked about the guy on the council, Gillen Primewater. This is kind of where he runs his shipping and stuff out of. It's kind of his home, plus he's right on the docks and he runs his whole like outfit out of there, all his trading goods and everything. And it's well known because he literally sits on the top floor and yells down to the docks all the time, giving orders and crap. So anybody that's walked the docks probably knows exactly where that is. The Dwarven Anvil is the blacksmith in town. That's 17. I'm just giving you guys kind of a rundown here.
Yeah.
18 is the fishmonger's plant. So this is where they process a bunch of the fish, do a lot of that work. Other things you actually need to know. The Mariner, the other place I guess you guys could potentially stay, I kind of forgot about actually, is the Mariners Guild Hall. So this is kind of provides bunk and meal for sailors that are passing through. Sea captains and their crews can stay here if they're coming from across the thing, and also a place you can get news from afar and that kind of thing. So a lot of the ships that come in that are staying, they'll stay here because their whole crews will stay there, kind of thing. So that is another possibility, but I would guess you guys are still probably at the end of that.
Yeah, because like even though which by the way, if Tycon is from the underwater city, like I kind of assumed that because my father fought in the war that he settled on the coast. So like I said, we're fishermen and I know boats, but that doesn't mean that I came to the city as a sailor, you know what I mean? So I don't think I wouldn't be staying there.
No, I wouldn't think so. I mean, it is a place where you could get a bunk, but probably not because you guys aren't necessarily all attached to a ship in some way. So
Yet.
Yeah. You know, I have an idea. What
We're gonna
we want to buy you, JP?
Okay, go ahead.
Since I'm paying for a room, but I'm not sleeping there, and since Tritons are very unusual, we're probably the only two in the whole town.
Yes, probably.
One way to start off introductions is you could probably have a gargle there bust in that number 8, the empty net, and dude's like, "So you go into your room?" And then he goes up into my room. Dude thinks he's me, and that's how I figure out someone's there that's a Triton.
We can see. I'll think about that. So yeah, that's a possibility of how to bring you guys in. The fact that you guys are all potentially going to be at the empty nets. Yeah, that was not necessarily where I thought you guys. Well, that was one of the things I was debating was how to actually get you guys together because I figured some of you would be at the snapping line and some of you would be at the empty net. So I'll have to think about how best to do that now. Okay.
Best laid plans of a DM is
I
always.
told John my plans for this one lasted until I got your guys' character sheets. And then it's like, oh, I would have to change. I don't think you guys would know that yet. Would have any interest in that? Would have any knowledge of that place yet either? Probably not. That one doesn't really matter. I'll go. That one wouldn't be. 23 is the Carpenters Guild Hall. So this is where like all the shipwrights and people that build barrels and all that work on the docks and all that. That's their guild hall down here. So, and then down here is what's called Crabber's Cove, and these buildings have been mostly abandoned because of storms and that kind of stuff were damaged during storms. And basically, like it's called Crabber's Cove because the crabs have basically taken over this, like all of these buildings. They're just like full of like crabs and everything else, and the crumbling remains down here. So, so those are like just some old decrepit buildings that were damaged in storms and nobody ever fixed them.
And now they have crabs. Okay.
Yeah. Now they have crabs.
To take care of your downstairs.
Yeah. This cliff area here is called the Leap.
People dive in the water?
No, actually. So basically, when this is kind of a weird thing, but I'll go on and give it to you. Like, even though you might not be there long enough to know, the Leap is an outcropping of rock nearly 100 feet above the water. Several stone benches stand on this precipice. Traditionally, the people of Saltmarsh leap from the cliffs of the water below when a loved one drowns at sea. The jump is usually not fatal. The water below is deep and free of rocks, and it's a short swim back to land. So why they do that, I don't know. It's just kind of a weird
ritual.
When they lose somebody at sea, that's what they do. So, Tycon would definitely know where this is at. 26 is the Temple of Procon in town.
I've been in there then a couple times.
Services of this long-standing sea god's temple are well attended. This is led by a one-legged former whaler named Welgar Brinehanded, and he is a human, and he is an older man with a sharp memory for every storm, lost ship, and enormous catch ever brought into Saltmarsh Harbor. So
hit that name one more time.
Wellgar, Wellgar, brine-handed, Brinehanded. So he is the priest at the temple.
Okay.
Yeah, that's an interesting. That's maybe the most interesting name or one of the stranger names they came up with for this one. This is just the cemetery in town. This is Winston's store. It's a solid goods at honest prices is his motto, and so this is ran by a halfling named Winston. And then
And that's next to the
it's right here, 28.
next to the temple.
Yeah, temple, graveyard, Winston store.
Does that mean it's on Winston's Churchill?
I suppose.
I cast the mute spell.
Okay. Let's see. Sea Grove of Old Obod High. Basically, this is there's an old. Yeah, this is a kind of an old shrine and grove that people visit in town. And then, yeah, that's basically it. With you guys, how long you guys have been there, you would know much about.
Okay.
The standing stones you would have seen coming in and out of town. They're. Give me a history check, everybody, to see if you actually know what the standing stones are about.
I don't know.
Natural 20.
Okay.
Mine
0.
didn't even roll.
What do you roll a 0?
There we go.
How do you roll a 0?
Because it's
1
negative.
minus 1.
Oh, there you go. That'll do it.
All right, what do you
Let
like?
it 0 or wait, no, sorry, 9 for
Nine.
history.
All right, well, Felicia knows what these are about, and these are there's two enormous rune stones stand on this island. In ages past, the story goes, a siren was chained to the stones here and sacrificed by an evil human tribe as an offering to the sea. Since then, the fishing in the region has flourished. The siren's spirit was captured in the stones, and her song is what makes the fishing so good here. So that's the story behind these two giant rune stones. So, I think that's everything. So, in terms of just like around town, what you would have kind of picked up, having been there for a little bit, any additional questions here?
Yep.
I wanted on record that I got a natural 20 on the most useless piece of information we're ever going to need in this entire campaign.
Well done, Felicia.
Really did not need that.
Well, you know, you never know. It may be prominent. Who knows? So,
That'd be the key to the end of the campaign.
the whole key. Everything circles around that. I just gave it all away. Oh no. So okay. I don't know. You guys got anything else you want to ask me before we kind of?
I'm curious about the other bunch of slides, so I'm ready.
Oh well, that you have to get into some missions before you have to worry about those. I was. Just,
Oh, okay.
well, here you can look at them if you'd like.
Beautiful.
So there you go. All right. So hopefully the PowerPoint thing works pretty well. We'll see. I thought about doing what was it you guys used, Roll20 or whatever, but since I had all these really high quality maps that I could download and save.
I mean, I basically did the theater of the mind approach. So
Yeah.
I think it's DM's discretion as to how we. So if you feel like this is gonna work, definitely let's go for it.
We're gonna give it a try using the PowerPoint, and then I can just, like I said, when you get to like something that has a map, which will be a little while, but when you get to something that has a map, I should be able to just kind of adjust the blocks as you guys move through whatever you're moving through.
If you want, when we're done, I can show you. There's a new addition to StreamYard where they let you play a certain kind of power presentation through StreamYard. So if you just had certain images to load, it might work really well.
The problem with that is I messed with that earlier. Well, at least the way I did it. Maybe that's not the way, but like I uploaded the PowerPoint. It would let you upload a PowerPoint, but like when I went back in here to change the slides to remove like the blue blocks, I couldn't do that on the StreamYard slide.
Yeah, you can't edit the slideshow during the thing. But if you know you're using just 1 or 2 maps primarily and they're already revealed, then like that, you don't have to worry about seeing all the stuff around the edges. Is what I'm saying. It blows it up really big.
It would help like once you guys have done something, but several of these like you may enter from multiple locations and what you see and when you know it, I'm not going to know.
Totally.
I'm not going to know which path you're going to take to like pre-developed slides and say, you see this room, then you see this room.
Right. No, I get it.
So we'll see how it goes. We'll adjust as
I'm
needed.
guessing that's some sort of farmhouse.
Oh, well, maybe. So depends on. You guys might get there. We'll see. I don't know. I got to convince you guys to actually go on a mission together at some point. So to agree to team up and agree to take a mission from.
These sound like 5 hearty adventurers. I don't know that you're going to need to do a lot of convincing.
Well, plus, like we as players want to get to that point, so I don't think we're going to be too obstinate.
No. So
look at it this way: even if you suck, we're gonna make it so that you can have us all going on your thing.
So
don't worry.
Go ahead. Oh, sorry. I thought I cut somebody off there. You guys have been okay. So Felicia and here I get rid of the map for a second. So Felicia and Golden Snow have been in town for a while. You just recently ditched your crew. Like how long ago was this, and how long has it been since you ditched your crew?
Probably a couple weeks, maybe.
Okay.
We've just been trying to lay low, make sure there's no heat on us anywhere. But it sounds like no news has traveled. Admittedly, the crew that we ditched is not like a local fishing charter crew. It's like privateers, slaver people. So it's not like anybody's like, oh, let's jump off the cliff for those guys.
Okay. So you guys have been just kind of hanging out at the Empty Net.
Yeah.
Big Will's been hanging out Tycon has been hanging out at the Empty Net, trying to get any kind of lead he can on.
I've been hanging out a little bit of everywhere, but that's a place where a lot of characters are, so I'll definitely need to be there.
So he's been kind of listening and that kind of stuff. So Woody, you said you've been in there. You've been taking odd jobs. I was looking and I did not think of somebody that maybe you'd been taking some jobs from. I should have done that when I was going through. Is there somebody here?
Well, I was kind of thinking about that, and I meant I could be I've got leather smithing tools and stuff.
Okay.
But then I could also just be, sort of help and set up and shut down like the farmer's market type thing for some extra coin or.
Oh, actually, let's see. So I'm going to say there's one of the places I skipped. Let me put this back in here real quick.
Didn't you go over a place that's like a carpentry place or something? I mean,
there's a Carpenter's Guild. There's a Carpenter's Guild Hall, but there's also a place I skipped that I didn't necessarily, and I probably shouldn't have now remembering what it was. I was thinking it was one thing, and it was actually, there's more to it than that. Is 22 is known as Ingo the Drover's house. And he's basically built a reputation as a good source for guards, Marines, muscle when sailing through difficult waters. So basically people he helps hook, basically is getting people onto people that need an extra hand or a little muscle for something that they're doing, like getting people jobs and that kind of stuff, doing that kind of stuff.
Yeah, that sounds Good.
So we could go with him as somebody maybe you've taken a job as like extra protection on a recent voyage and just got back into town again. Like you've been here and worked for him or something along those lines. If you want to say something you've been doing, or maybe you'd help guard.
Giving me smaller, short trips.
Yeah,
You could be a bouncer at the Empty Nest.
Oh, don't worry, we have that covered. So, all right, and so that just gives you like a potential contact in town. So, basically, he's a human male. He kind of a older guy, but he definitely still like he was a it says human male gladiator, so he's definitely not a someone to necessarily be messed with. He does have a good friendship with Eleander, that guy, so he helps him get things when he has to do things outside of just the regular guards and that kind of stuff. So that's somebody that you could have been working with, getting some odd jobs. Okay, so but you've been staying at the Empty Net as well. Alec, do you want to? Let's just say you arrived.
Do you mean Gargle?
Gargle, sorry, Gargle. I have to get used to remembering everybody's names.
They're
that
written.
I'm gonna say you arrived yesterday, like late in the day, potentially.
Okay.
And like took up residence in the Empty Net. If you guys want to go with his story, or if you just want to have saying you got your own room, that's up to you, the two of you, if you want to do like that kind of thing. But basically, here's going to be this. Depending on what you're doing there, here is the hook for the start of in 2 weeks when we start this, which is basically you guys all early in the morning of whatever day it is that we're doing this. You guys wake up to news that a body has drifted ashore down near Crabber's Cove. A young woman has been found on the beach, drowned, with showing signs of having been bound, like that she broke free of some kind of captivity. And that's all the buzz in town, like when you go down the bar, that this body is washed up on shore. So, and that is where we will potentially start the campaign, probably with you guys in the bar or getting breakfast or whatever. So,
Okay.
sound like a plan?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That
Sounds good.
All right. Well, I want to thank anybody that hung with us. We varied between 1 and 6 or 7 people watching. So thank you. Cards Fan, I think, hung out for most of this, and Big O watched this for quite a while. So thank you both. During the regular campaign, much like tonight, I won't necessarily acknowledge the chat a ton, but we'll try to at least respond in the chat if we can. With that, unless anybody's got anything else they want to discuss before we wrap up this session 0 for Ghosts of the Saltmarsh, we're going to call it a night.
Well, since Alec has a hectic work schedule, we might want to just go ahead and decide that thing tonight. If you came in yesterday late at night, do you want to do what I suggested, or just you come in and get a room and then I see you?
So, I mean, my character, if JP says that the innkeeper, whatever, just kind of sees me and thinks I'm you, I don't think I would question it, because I don't know how the big city works. So if he's just like, oh, here's the key to your room, I'd be like, oh, okay, great.
So basically, he just threw that back at you, JP.
He did. I will say, so basically this town, it's pretty common to see like humans and halflings and elves and dwarves, or most of what everyone in this town are. Occasionally you see other things because it is a merchant village, like the tiefling from Inu, whatever, Luz or Inuz, whatever, I forget the name of that place. But there occasionally have other people. Tritons would not be very common, even if there's tritons in the area. It's probably not super common to see one above the water and in town.
May I make a reverse DM suggestion?
You can make a suggestion, sure.
Roll a perception check for the innkeeper to see if he recognizes me or thinks.
Yeah, let me pull him up real quick to see what I.
Oh, he has stats of his own. Cool.
No, he doesn't. So I'm gonna have to make him up. But I want to
They
look
would
at
all
him.
be 10s then. So
Yeah. So I just want to pull him up again and read the thing. Yeah, someone he's not gonna. Yeah, he's probably not gonna ask questions. So let's do it. I'm gonna say with that roll though, he did notice that you were somebody different, and since he rolled an 18, and you got your own room.
Okay, fair enough.
okay. Well,
Makes it easy.
if it's evening, I would probably have seen him on my way to the water. So I'm definitely going to investigate that once it comes day.
Okay, so that would be the other thing that you can. One of the things you guys can do is the scuttlebutt as you guys come in or whatever to get breakfast or whatever at the place. The scuttlebutt will be other people in the bar will already be talking about this body. So, sound like a plan?
I like it.
All right, and I'm gonna have to maybe come up with a for sure layout of this place since this appears to be where you guys are staying and it doesn't give me one. So that'll be fun. I got 2 weeks to do that though, so that's good. All right, with that we are gonna wrap this up. Thanks everybody for watching again, and we will see you for D&D in a couple of weeks. Later, everybody. Maybe if I find the button.